Hello children, in this video we will discuss about the Mughal rulers and their campaigns from chapter number 4 of history, that is the Mughal Empire. The Indian subcontinent in the Middle Ages was a large territory and had diversity in people and culture. So it was a difficult task for any ruler to control over it, but it was made possible by the Mughal rulers. From the late 16th century, the Mughals expanded their kingdom from Agra and Delhi. By the 17th century, they controlled nearly the entire subcontinent. Through their administration and ideas of governance, they left a political legacy for the succeeding rulers. Today, the Prime Minister of India addresses the nation on the eve of Independence Day from the Red Fort in Delhi, which was once the residence of the Mughal emperors. Now we'll talk about who were Mughals. The Mughals were the descendants of two great lineages of rulers. From their mother's side, they were the descendants of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan ruled over the Mongol tribes, China and Central Asia. And from their father's side, they were the successor of Timur, who ruled over Iran, Iraq and modern-day Turkey. If we talk about the ancestry of the Mughals, the initial ruler was Timur and then came Prince Miran Shah, then Prince Sultan Muhammad, then Sultan Abu Said and then Prince Umar Sheikh Mirza. Then came Babur, and with the beginning of the rule of Babur, we say the Mughal rule started in India. Mughals were always proud of their Timurid ancestry and they did not like to be called as Mughal or Mongol. They never want to associate themselves with Genghis Khan, as Genghis Khan was associated with the massacre of innumerable people, that means killing of a large number of people. Another reason was the Uzbeks, which was another Mongol tribe, and Genghis Khan ruled over them, who were the competitor of Mughals. So here is the list of some Mughal rulers who ruled over the Indian subcontinent. First came Babur. He ruled from 1526 to 1530 Common Era, and then came Humayun, who ruled from 1530 to 1540 and 1555 to 1556 Common Era. Then came Akbar from 1556 to 1605, then came Jahangir, then Shah Jahan and then Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler. So let's start with Babur. Babur succeeded the throne of Fergana, which is in Uzbekistan, in the year 1494 Common Era. He was just 12 years old. He faced rebellion from his relatives only. He was forced to leave his ancestral throne during the invasion of another Mongol group, the Uzbeks, and he kept on moving for a lot of years and finally seized Kabul in the year 1504. In 1526 Common Era, he defeated the Sultan of Delhi, Ibrahim Lodi, at the Panipat in the first battle of Panipat, and he captured Delhi and Agra and founded the Mughal Empire. In the Battle of Panipat, Babur was helped by the Rajput prince Rana Sanga of Mewar. After winning the battle, Babur not only took his share of the loot but also established himself as the ruler. He defeated Rana Sanga in 1527 Common Era and the Afghan generals who helped him in his battle against the Lodis. He did not live long and died in 1530 Common Era. After Babur, his son Humayun became the ruler. The Afghan nobles wanted the Mughals to leave India. Sher Shah, an Afghan, defeated Humayun at Chausa and Kannauj, which forced Humayun to flee to Iran. In Iran, Humayun received help from the Safavid Shah and he recaptured Delhi in 1555 but died in 1556 after an accident. The next in the succession was the Akbar. Akbar succeeded his father at an early age of 13 years and got the throne. He was guided by Bairam Khan, whose ideas led him to succeed a huge part of India. He led the constant campaigns against the Suris and the Afghans. And then he suppressed the revolts from Uzbeks and from his half-brother Mirza Hakim. In 1568, he captured Chittor by defeating Sisodias. In 1569, he captured Ranthambore. Then he led numerous military campaigns to Gujarat, Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. He captured the northwest of India. He slowly and gradually annexed the north of India, that is Kashmir. Then he annexed the region of Kabul after the death of Mirza Hakim. In the south, he marched up to the Deccan, Berar and parts of Ahmednagar. The next ruler was the Jahangir. He was known as Prince Salim. He continued with the campaign started by Akbar. Later on, Amar Singh, who was the ruler of Mewar, accepted the rule of Jahangir. The wife of Jahangir, Mehrunissa, was known as Noor Jahan. Mehrunissa was very loyal and supportive. Numerous seals and coins at the time of Jahangir are in the name of Noor Jahan. Next to Jahangir was Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was earlier known as Prince Khurram. He defeated the Afghan noble who was Khan Jahan Lodi. He launched campaigns against Ahmednagar and in 1632 it was finally annexed. In 1657 to 1658 there arose the conflict over succession amongst Shah Jahan's son. Aurangzeb defeated all his three brothers and killed one of his brother Dara Shikoh. Later on, Shah Jahan was imprisoned by Aurangzeb for the rest of his life in Agra fort. In the northeast, Aurangzeb defeated Ahoms in 1663, but later on again they had a clash with Ahoms in 1680 Common Era. Initially, Aurangzeb succeeded against Shivaji and then later Shivaji went to accept the rule of Mughal emperor. But then Aurangzeb badly insulted Shivaji, after which Shivaji escaped from Agra and declared himself as independent king and resumed his campaigns against the Mughals. Aurangzeb sent his armies to South India till Deccan. He annexed Bijapur in 1685 and Golconda in 1687 Common Era. From 1698, Aurangzeb personally managed campaigns in the Deccan against the Marathas who started guerrilla warfare. Aurangzeb's death led to conflict among his sons over succession and gradually Mughal dynasty collapsed. The next topic is Mughal traditions of succession. How Mughal believes in dividing their property. Mughal did not believe in the rule of primogeniture. Primogeniture means a system where eldest son gets his father's property. Rather, Mughals believed in the Mughal and Timurid custom of coparcenary. Coparcenary means division of property amongst all the sons. So the next topic, how was the relationship of Mughals with other rulers? The Mughal rulers campaigned constantly against the rulers who refused to accept their authority. Some rulers joined the Mughals voluntarily, that means by their own wish. Some of the Rajput married their daughters into Mughal families. For example, Jodhabai, who was the daughter of Rajput ruler of Amber, she got married to Akbar. In return, many of the Rajput received high positions in Mughal court like Mansabdar or they became Subedar. The best part of Mughal rule was even the defeated rulers were treated honorably by Mughals. Many defeated rulers who accepted the supremacy of Mughals were given their land back as assignments. That means now those defeated rulers will be ruling their kingdom again. But now they have to collect taxes and they have to give it to the Mughals, and they will always be under the Mughals' supremacy. Some of the Rajput rulers refused to accept the Mughals' authority for a long time. For example, Sisodia Rajput. So, this is all about the Mughal relations with other rulers. Left topic we will be covering in the next video. Thank you.